Hello, I am Karen O'Connor, and I'm here today to talk about how to properly sing our NG. NG, the ending consonant sound in words like sing and long, is used a lot in voice studios for helping develop the ring in the voice, for getting the tongue root forward so that it doesn't diminish the resonating space inside the throat, for blending the registers, and for helping develop the upper range. There are a number of exercises that incorporate the NG. And so forth. The NG posture sometimes gets a bad rap from singing teachers who misunderstand its purpose in training, especially those who incorrectly assume that it's intended to train the tongue into a high posture for all vowels, or who assume that it's going to introduce nasality into the tone. This is not at all the case, but I am not here today to argue these points. I just want to take a moment to ensure that you know how to properly form this sound in order to benefit fully from it in your training and singing. Most singers learn to form the NG by first speaking a word containing it in the final position of the word and then stopping on that sound. Sing, long. And it's fine to find your NG posture from these words so long as your NG is being formed properly. But oftentimes we don't form all our speech sounds correctly. Most English speakers form the NG with the tongue quite far back, which doesn't interfere much with rapid speech, but it simply won't do for singing tasks because singing requires more space in the throat for resonance. So I like to have my students get into the NG posture first before making sound. And this is obviously not going to be practical when singing vocal phrases. It's just a temporary practice habit to employ until you can consistently produce a good NG. And this is how we do it. We place the tongue tip gently behind the backs of the lower front teeth, and then we raise the body of the tongue up to meet the soft palate. And this is why the NG is considered a velar consonant. But this also is where many singers start to get it wrong. Again, English speakers in particular often tend to form the NG with the tongue body back so that it touches the back part of the soft palate. So this posture makes it so that the tongue body is too much into the oral pharynx, which causes a bit of a swallowed or gagged sound, as well as a loss of upper harmonic partials that ring in the voice that we're trying to access or achieve by using the NG. It also may partially block off the nasal port so that some of the nasal resonance gets cut off, which is something that we also don't want to do when producing nasal consonants. So when we raise the body of the tongue, we need to have it make gentle contact with the front part of the soft palate, with the tongue body a bit more forward than it might be for rapid speech. When the tongue body rises up like this and meets the soft palate, especially when the tongue is kept wide and fat, the mouth cavity is effectively sealed off so that no air or resonance filter through it. If you perform an NG hum, you should feel no air escaping through the mouth, and if you pinch your nose, the sound will completely stop. So it's important to remember then that the space in the mouth is not important. What is important when singing your NG is the space behind that seal, that closure in the throat. This brings me to the second part of making a nice resonant NG, ensuring adequate space in the rest of the throat. So just before we begin to phonate, to make sound, we're going to place the tongue tip behind the lower front teeth, raise the tongue body to meet that front part of the soft palate, then inhale deeply through the nose with a bit of a multi-directional kind of yawn stretch in the throat. Don't take it to extremes, but you want high and low, front to back, and side to side. And this will set up your vocal tract to make a really resonant, free, ringing NG sound followed by a resonant, free, ringing vowel sound. If you have difficulties opening the throat while inhaling through the nose, inhale through the mouth instead, then form the NG with your tongue and soft palate before phonating. One last tip for making a beautiful, perfectly formed NG. You have to avoid pronouncing the hard G. NG is not an N followed by a G, even though it's written as a digraph using both of those letters. It's all one speech sound, and while the tongue body does assume the velar consonant G posture, the tip is not in an alveolar N posture. We can hear this hard click-like G being pronounced by some speakers, singing, going, wrong. This happens when the NG is formed with too much muscular pressure at the point of contact between the tongue body and the palate. And this then allows too much air pressure to build up behind the place of articulation, that point of closure. Then, when the tongue separates from the soft palate, that plosive G sound is heard. If you hear a separate G, hard G sound, when you pronounce your NG, practice reducing the muscular pressure between the tongue and the soft palate. Make that pressure as light and as minimal as possible to form the seal. No more than that though. Don't misdirect your strength or energy into the articulators. Remember to keep your tongue body wide and fat, which indicates that there's no undue tension or excessive muscular contraction in order to form this complete seal. And then practice switching slowly between NG and a vowel posture by separating the tongue and the palate silently as you exhale. Keep the movement slow at first so that you can really focus on proper vocal tract posturing, achieving the right degree of muscular contraction and appropriate breath pressure levels. And now you're ready to start using your NG to help bring out the ring in your voice, blend your registers, and build your upper range. Thanks for watching today. If you found this video helpful, please like it and subscribe to this channel so that you'll be the first to know whenever I post any new videos. As always, I do my best to respond to comments left here, messages posted on the SingWise Facebook page, or emails sent to Karen@singwise.com. See you soon.